everyone, and welcome to All Talk, No Balk. I'm your host, Heather Barrett.
And I'm your co-host, Charles Duncan.
Hi, Charles. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Heather. How are you?
I am so excited, Charles. We are going to rock the baseball world. This is going to be sick.
It's time to educate some folks on the world of baseball right now, Heather.
It is time to educate. Time to educate the young people. The young people that don't care as much. Let's do it. Make it happen.
We represent the Bullpen. It's a small organization covering the MLB right now, but we're growing. We're on the rise. We're doing good. Our vision statement is to connect all baseball enthusiasts to a unique and distinctive content, just to bring everyone together. Our mission statement, we really work extremely hard to secure exceptional and one-of-a-kind baseball stories for you, as well as photos, videos, everything that you would need as a baseball junkie. We think baseball, we live baseball, we are baseball every day.
That's right, Charles. Yes, we love baseball here. We're all fans on staff. We're all fans of different teams, lots of different perspectives, lots of great people.
Hat, Heather, where's the hat at? There it is.
Look at that. There's my Dodgers. I'm wearing a Cody Bellinger jersey right now for all the fans that are wondering. Yes, he is my favorite current Dodger. But I can name a ton. How about you? Who's your favorite Angel, Charles?
I mean, I could be generic and say Mike Trout, obviously. But I like our new guy. I really like Rendon. Everybody thinks he's a bit of a loudmouth, but I think he's going to be awesome. I think he's going to come in and he's going to really mesh with the team. He's not going to think of himself as an eye guy, which a lot of guys do, especially when they start to get a hot bat. So I think he'll mesh with the team. Ohtani, he's coming off an injury, but we'll see how he performs. Madden doesn't think it's going to be a problem. He's going to put him back in his two-way schedule. So I'm really excited for us. I think we're going to be great this season with the new manager. Sosha needed to go. I mean,
yeah, he's
that was just like 14 years too late, in my opinion. The man, once Irvin Santana clutched that 2012 West title, that's the last year that we were even relevant, So
Sure.
I think that it was a good change, and hopefully it'll be the Freeway Series will be alive and well this year.
It'll be a rockin' Freeway Series. It's funny you said Joe Madden, and I almost forgot because it's been so long since baseball's been on that managerial change happened. So that'll be exciting for you guys. I'm excited on the Dodgers end for a redemption year on many fronts.
You guys like scrubbed, didn't you? Like some okay guy. I think his name's Mookie, right?
We got some guy named Mookie that people say is okay. No, he's a wonderful player. We already have an MVP in my guy Cody Bellinger. We have another MVP now in Mookie Betts, and then we have David Price, who I think is a valuable addition that maybe is going underrated right now. So I think we're solid.
Fall back, right? That's what we needed.
Yes. Oh my God, 100%. We were missing it.
The MLB and the MLBPA was just ridiculous. I don't know. Do you want to get into that? I mean, that was the reason that we've been waiting so long. The Pacers come back. I mean, whose side are you on in all of this? Because I know which side I'm on. I'm with the owners on this one, but
you're with the owners. We know that. I am, of course, with the players. And let me give you a little bit of numbers here, Charles. Let me just kick it off with some numbers. So I looked it up because I don't want the fans to be given wrong information. And the poorest MLB owner of an MLB team is the Cincinnati Reds owner. And he has a net worth of $400 million. And that is the poorest guy. Most of them are in the billions. So obviously there was money to go around. And we know that basically pennies on the dollar was being debated, the prorated salary, the number of games versus how much is paid, the top paid players in the league versus the minimum salary, the minimum wage guys. So, I think that the owners were being greedy. I think the players had every point. Plus, we have to take into account they're putting their health on the line with this creative season, shall we say. So, I do think that it was petty on both ends, but I will say the owners were more at fault. What do you think, Charles?
I'm with you on the health standpoint, but I mean, you brought up a great point. It wasn't about the owners not giving money, really. It was about the players not receiving enough, in their opinion. And you talk about the lowest paid owner, or the owner that has the lowest net worth. Well, these players are at minimum making, 250 grand. And yeah, it goes to their agents 10%. And yeah, 10% goes to their managers. So there goes 50K. But you're still looking at $200,000 a year, which is more than, a lot of people are making every year, and especially with COVID going on, with unemployment. Some people don't even have work and you're holding out on a six-figure salary. I think that's very, petty in terms of how much money you've been making. Like, I mean, at long last, baseball is back, but there's definitely been a cost, and we've seen that the whole thing just is money focused, and that's really just disappointing in my eyes, because this is supposed to be America's pastime, and baseball has been a sport without a cap since the beginning, and that's why the Yankees were always so good, as you know. So I don't understand. These players have always been taken care of by the no cap rule, and you have guys like Scherzer, Trout, Pujols, who are raking in 40 mil a year. I mean, give me a break. These guys are getting very well taken care of, and I think it was a little too long on their side to hold out for, you're getting paid for 50 games, but you're playing 60. Like, really, 10 games is going to make or break your household, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too personal with these guys, but as a fan, I'm beyond happy that baseball is coming back. But what cost did it pay, in our eyes to kind of view this? It's really interesting, because a lot of these guys are, very well off. So it's probably hard for the rest of the country to look at that and, think of it as like a pastime sport now, when these guys are, no different than any other sport. Always, worried about the money, going where the money goes.
Yeah, and I think we can both agree that this wasn't a good look on either side, and nor was it a good look for the sport of baseball that's already been waning in popularity, especially with the youth. Obviously, we're the exception. But so it wasn't a good look. It definitely left us on edge over at the bullpen, scrambling for things to talk about, and hoping that there's a season, because this is our debut season. So we were hoping that, stars would align. But now we're going to get a season, and hopefully, I know there's going to be another labor agreement after, I believe, 2021.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be huge as well. And hopefully more progress can be made, because we just want to see baseball, and we just want to see our favorite players play for as long as possible.
That's right, Heather. You said it exactly right. People at the bullpen and, that are running these accounts and, trying to hype up the MLB, it's been pretty hard, because of all these negotiations that have been happening between the MLB and the MLBPA. It's just really disappointing to see that they couldn't come to an agreement faster and, make it more smooth in terms of, how they handled it, and making it so we could get something to talk about early on and get some of these hyper players back in. Mike Trout just had a baby with his wife, and, because of the timing, he might not be able to play that much this season. So it's going to be really interesting to see some of these guys who have, unfortunately dealt with a lot of off the field grievances and, joys at the same time for some people that are going to take them away from the field. So we'll see how it goes in terms of both health and personal issues off the field.
Yeah, Charles, and I think that's a really good segue into what we wanted to talk about next with the fans. We wanted to talk about what the 2020 season will actually look like. As far as we know right now, we're recording it is Friday, June 26th. So obviously we don't have all the information that we will in the coming weeks, especially when players report on July 1st. Pitchers and catchers, I think, will report first. But let me get into the rules, some of them, and then we'll talk about them if we need to.
I think DH. That's going to be cool, huh? For the NL.
I should say to the fans, I've been a Dodger fan my entire life. My mom and then my grandma, who also lives with us, was a Dodger fan since their Brooklyn days, basically when they first came to LA. And so we've been fans forever, and they're very traditionalist in their baseball views. And so they don't like these changes that we're seeing. I, however, am very excited for a DH. to be in the National League because, you know, it was great when Hyun-Jin Ryu hit that bomber last year, Babe Ruth, as he was called. That was fun. But do we need to see, you know, that's a, you know, once in a, you know, that was literally once in his career type of thing.
What about Polo Cologne, who hit a home run last year as well? I mean, these are the guys that, you know, you love to see hit homers. And yeah, for the traditionalists, it's going to suck. You know, it's being taken away from them. We're not going to see these pitchers hitting any bombs anymore, which is going to be, you know, I guess easier for them. You know, they can focus more on winning the game. But, I mean, that could win them the game. You know, they could hit a jack and it's, you know, tied up. So it's really interesting. But I'm curious to see how the universal DH revolves around the Dodgers, because they said they're not going to designate one person. They're going to make sure that if ever, you know, they change it up, it's more dynamic. So I think that it could work because of the staff that they have, but not every team should go that approach, in my opinion. I mean, the Dodgers are very unique in their I mean, they could put anyone in that position depending on, you know, the pitching matchup of that day. I think that's what they're mainly going to be looking at. If it's a lefty or righty, you know, do we put, you know, Seager in right there? Do we put, you know, whoever in, Turner DHing that day? So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, as a Dodger fan, how do you think you guys are going to be able to handle it?
You know, as you said, they're such a unique organization as compared to most of them. They can really field two teams, I fully believe. So as do most people. So the fact that, you know, a 26-man roster, 25 or whatever it's been, has never been really enough. It's felt like at times. So the fact that they have more flexibility to call up people to utilize that DH spot is really exciting. I also think, you know, Justin Turner's an interesting guy because he's not the young spring chicken that he was, especially for playing a spot like third base.
Hey, you leave JT alone. That's my guy. I love JT.
No, no. I love Justin Turner, but I'm saying for his health, he always has like these minor injuries during the season. It feels like a hamstring or a wrist.
It's just the rest he needs, so that way he can go off during the playoffs.
Yeah, it's nice for the older players. I know that, you know, I look at AJ Pollock because we have such a loaded outfield. I look at AJ Pollock as a good candidate to get, you know, even for the guys like Cody, the super athletic guys. That might need a day off or something, you know, it could be good. So, but obviously we're loaded with an embarrassment of riches that haven't paid off yet, but we're hoping. You know, most teams can't do that. They'll probably have one guy. I believe pitchers can still hit if they want.
Yes. I mean, but who's going to take that opportunity depending on, unless, you know, maybe somebody gets injured in the game and they have to put a pitcher in there. That could be a definite scenario.
That'd be interesting.
I don't think someone's planning before a game to maybe put a pitcher in that DH spot when they could put an active hitter. But, you know, things could happen and it could get interesting. And I would love to see, you know, a pitcher go in there. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get hurt. I'm not rooting for that. But seeing a pitcher come back in and hitting would be just awesome. Maybe when you're, you know, killing a team like 10-3, like the Dodgers, they put David Price in to hit for him. Or anything like that. I mean, the Dodgers, like you said, they're definitely property rich and kind of cash poor at the moment. But I mean, when you have that kind of property, I don't think you really need to. Yeah, they spent a lot of money in the offseason. They're not the poorest team, but, you know, they lost a lot of money with the gets that they got with Mookie and David. But if it pays off, if they get a World Series ring, I mean, they're getting bonuses and money back. So it's an investment for sure for the Dodgers, which we all know hopefully their investments can finally pay off this season. Maybe the shortened season will help them out. I don't know. Maybe
I think, you know, if you ask me, I think it will, because we see a trend with the Dodgers often where they kind of peak in the June, July months. And if you do the math on the season, it basically, like, June, July becomes now October. So they kind of hit their stride right in the middle, and kind of the middle is the end now if you look at the shortened season. So I think it could be good.
If you look at the Yankees and the Dodgers last season, they would have killed it in a, you know, schedule like this, because both of them were like not losing a game come the middle of the season. I remember the Dodgers were like 10, 15 games ahead of anyone in their division, and the Yankees the same way. And
Sure.
the Yankees with the DH, they might have the Yankees and the Dodgers are very similar in my opinion right now. They have loaded bats, a lot of stacked outfielders that they can literally just switch out at will if they wanted to, because how much talent each of them has. And they're both of their bullpens are finally starting to come around again. So I see my pick right now early on. I'm calling it now as Yankees Dodgers, but we'll see how the season progresses. We'll see how injuries go. The Yankees were the most injured team last season, and they still went off, which is insane. If Judge and Stanton and all these guys can stick around with the new season, because they can opt out, as I'm sure as one of the rules. So it's going to be interesting, but I see Yankees Dodgers.
Okay, and Charles, who is your World Series winner for 2020? Let's hear it.
My World Series winner. Oh, I might have to save that for next time as a guarantee. But as of right now, I'm going to roll with the Yankees if they stay healthy. Okay. I think
how many games?
They have just championship drive in their blood. They've won more recently. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging on what their strategies are for this season, as we've just come out with the new schedule. So I'll have a definite answer for you next week. For sure.
Okay, I am going to put in my prediction right now for similar reasons as you, but an opposite team. I am going to say it will be a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Very exciting for both fan bases, I think, and also the country as a whole.
Yeah,
and I'm going to
the East. It's awesome.
Yes, it's a legendary matchup as well. And I'm going to say the Dodgers in 6. I think that the main reasoning for my choice is I do think, even though Gerrit Cole is the shiny piece for the Yankees, I think that the Dodgers from top to bottom of the rotation is stronger. I think the Dodgers number 4 or 5 is stronger than the Yankees number 4 or 5. I also think that them losing Luis Severino is a big loss for the season. And I think that Kershaw will be at peak performance because he will not be so overworked as we've seen so many times. And I think that the young guys for the Dodgers that have played already in 2 World Series, some of them, are just coming into their primes now. So we really haven't seen the best of the Dodgers, I don't think, at all. And I think, a healthy Max Muncy, a healthy Corey Seager, you combine that with the outfield pieces of Mookie, who already won a World Series against us. I hate to bring it up. So I think that's my reasoning. Again, I'm not solid on it. I think that the Astros, I hate to say it, are a sneaky World Series contender. Because they won't have the ire of the fans to deal with, which is lucky for them. So
no, they will not make it. No.
Okay.
So be eliminated early on, if anything. I think that even if they make the playoffs, which they could, they have the talent to do so. 2 things will happen. One, everyone will be gunning for them. They do not want to have them make it again, and it will be so much rage and determination. We could even see some sneakiness from the other teams, and that might be, okay, because it's against the Astros, and the league might just overlook it like they did when the Astros did it, because you can't punish a team who does it not the following year, but the year after it gets uncovered. Right. Because that wouldn't be just, because otherwise take away the Astros championship. It doesn't make any sense. And my only comment to finish up on your point is with Gerrit Cole. I think he's going to really come in, and even with the loss of Severino, I think that they're going to go off. They have a young roster just like the Dodgers do. They have experience just like the Dodgers do. They don't have 2 World Series under their belts for the young players, but both seasons they made the ALCS, so I think that they know how to run deep into a season. And they made 2 in 3 years, but I think that they know how to go deeper into the playoffs, and they can win it as well. So we'll see how that goes. But let's take a little break. We'll come back in about 5 minutes, and we'll continue on.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Next segment, your take, our take. Basically, what we do here, we invite guests onto our show, and then we give our take on a certain subject or topic, and then we let them voice their opinions and have a little conversation with them. A little bit better than what a lot of talk shows and podcasts do. They basically blow people off after 30 seconds. We like our viewers. We're good to them. We're nice to them.
We love our viewers.
We give them the chance to speak. Our first topic of the day is, what can the league do to keep fans engaged during the season with COVID and no fans in the stands? My perception is that we should get a virtual fan board. I don't know how many of you watched the NFL draft, but during each pick, they had fans from each given city wearing their apparel, shouting, celebrating when their guys were picked to their team. I think they could totally do that during a game. There are so many breaks in baseball. In between each inning, you could just go to the big board out in center field or wherever it's located in your given stadium and have like a cutout grid of different fans from, either across the US or even include people from around the globe, really make it an international connection between everyone. And I think that a lot of teams will get a lot of engagement from that. I think that, it really shows that you're allowing these fans to be a part of the game still and being able to engage with each other on this platform. So I think having a virtual fan board will be great. And even during like the 7th inning stretch, you could do like kiss cams or stuff like that. You could have people log on and it would be just like couples kissing, or like, then you could have like a fun one where you have the broadcasters that are shown like they always do. I think that's hilarious when it's a kiss cam and they go to Joe Buck and whatever Joe Schmo that he's with. So I think that would be hilarious. Keep it fun, keep the fans engaged, and really get the fans involved. I think that's the best way. What do you think, Heather, is going to be the way that they'll handle this?
Yeah, well, that's a great point, Charles, and I think that's really cute. It could be fun, entertaining for the fans who already think baseball's too long for the most part to begin with. So I was going to bring up the Zoom conference phenomena, which is what we're doing right now and we're recording this. And it's what the Dodgers have been doing. By the way, for all of the haters out there, I took off the hat because it was getting hot. I still love the Dodgers. So the hat is right here.
I'm just gone, baby. We're still here. Let's go.
So if you guys follow the Bullpen, the blog aspect of our company, I'm also an occasional contributor, and I wrote my first article for the Bullpen's blog, zooming into a new era of fan interaction in baseball, because the Dodgers have been doing just that. They've been zooming with the fans, talking about what's going on in their lives, just a little breakdown of what they've been doing, how's it going, what are their concerns about COVID, et cetera, et cetera. And it's been a bunch of them at once, and the fans get to see all their favorite players, a little bit of a behind the scenes look that we don't always get in real world or in a normal season. So I think it could be fun if during the season they continue this, and maybe every team does it. So the Braves fans can see, Ronald Acuna or Freddie Freeman, and, the Brewers can see Christian Yelich, whoever, talk about how the season's going, what they think they can improve upon, what are they looking forward to in the upcoming matchup, whatever it is. And it could be, mediated by somebody. In the Dodgers case, it's normally Alana Rizzo and Joe Davis, who are part of Sportsnet LA. But, that could be a really fun way to get the fans excited in between, games, or maybe once a month, or it could be something to look forward to. So I think that's a really nice thing that the Dodgers have started that I think most or all of the other teams should continue with. And, I will go right into Luke. We have our first friend of the pod on All Talk No Balk today. This is Charles's friend, Luke. Welcome. We're so excited to have Luke. He's also been a loyal follower to the Bullpen since its inception. And we're very excited to hear what you think, Luke. Give it to us.
Thanks, Heather and Charlie. Well, first off, go Dodgers, one. Yeah. And I mean, normally, getting fans engaged is a different ball game. I mean, stadiums do things like food promotions. Like I remember going to a $1 dog night at Dodger Stadium, or bobblehead nights.
Of course.
But, yes. Yeah. I mean, I really think the main thing that MLB has to be concerned about is, one, they're going to have increased competition with all these sports coming back. I mean, the NBA is going to be back soon. Golf's already back. The season ends, September 27th. So that's going to be the start of the NFL season. And with that, I mean, I really think the MLB needs to get a younger audience. I mean, I was reading somewhere that like 29% of their fans are in the 18 to 34 demographic, and the average age of the baseball fans 53. So the main thing they have to do is get their audience younger. And I was thinking of, ways to do that. I mean, one of the first things that came to mind was, during the NFL draft, like Charlie mentioned, they had those big screens with fans in the background, and they had people booing Roger Goodell. So I mean, that was a little fun. That.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, like you mentioned with the Zoom call, I actually was on one of the Dodgers Zoom calls early on. So I mean, that was fun. I think the one I was on, they had a bunch of 80s Dodgers, coming back and telling some of their stories. So that was a real good experience. Maybe one thing they could do also is, like on the PGA tours, maybe mic a player or two. I'm not sure if they could.
Yes.
I'm not sure if they can do that, but I mean, that'd be a little cool. Other things I remember is just like some small things they could do on social media. So during the NFL draft, like they had custom wallpapers you could download on Twitter. So like I remember I downloaded a Bucks background, and I was actually on a Zoom call with Charlie, and we were all watching the draft together back in April. So that was a little fun thing to do. Maybe also doing a little virtual Q&A with the players. I don't know if they could maybe integrate that into like a post-game interview, or maybe, with the Dodgers, it's normally Alano Rizzo interviewing the players, maybe get like 1 or 2 fan questions that they could ask the players. That could be another cool thing.
Yep.
Or one last thing they could do is, a lot people love behind the scenes stuff. So on Instagram, maybe they could do like video on a player, like get to know their family, like get to know Clayton Kershaw's family and all the good things they do. So that was some of my ideas to get.
I'm glad you brought that last point up, Luke. We're actually kind of doing the same thing on the podcast, which we'll get into a little bit later, guys. We're going to be doing player profiles and, kind of doing a day in the life, what's going on with some of these guys and keeping up with them to be a little bit more social. So I think that is really important, Luke. And I think the mic'd up idea sounds great. And why not go a step further and bring like Tim Salmon and some of these older legends back to play like a home run derby or a game of pepper with them, and invite a small capacity of fans to go to that, so that way at least fans are starting to get in the door again, because I've heard from the Kentucky Derby, they're now letting 25% capacity into Kentucky, even though they pushed the date back. So hopefully we can see some more, player interaction, some more fans getting into the gates here. But I think that that's a really great idea. I think it'll be really cool to see if we can do that with the mic'd up players.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, like the Tom Brady, Phil Mickelson, Peyton Manning, Tiger Woods event. I mean, I'm sure Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts would have some time in the outfield to answer a question or two from Joe Davis during the.
That'd be awesome.
Why not?
That'd be so great. Yeah, I mean, we already know that they're mic'd up during the All-Star game, and they do it for spring training games as well. Some of them. So that's been really fun. It's tough with the concentration thing. You worry about, can they focus, but if they can find a way, like a middle ground, I love to hear what the fans kind of mess with each other. I mean, not the fans, sorry, the players mess with each other and kind of riff off each other. So that's, a fun thing.
See their personal side a little bit,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It humanizes them a little bit. And I think with the Zoom calls, that's a really great opportunity to see that as well, the more human aspect of these players, because, you could talk to them, maybe find out what food they like, if they're watching Netflix, what Netflix show, Avatar, Ozark, what are they on right now? And just, I think that the main issue here is screening some of these Zoom calls. So you have to make sure that, if a player is being attacked by a fan, that fan be kicked out or something like that, because, we have to make sure that the players are also being protected and that, no fan is like taking advantage of the situation. But with the competition that Luke mentioned, with basically every single major sport being back at one time in September, it's seeming like. It's just going to be very interesting to see how baseball does, especially with the low number of younger fans that they have. But, you know, hopefully they start doing a lot more, and we can have a lot more fan engagement as the season progresses. And thank you so much, Luke, for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Luke.
That was great, man. And
those
hopefully
were some
we get
good
more
points.
guests like you. That was really good. Way to come prepared.
I know. We love to hear your thoughts, and I love to talk to a fellow Dodger fan. For the fans out there, this won't always be so Dodgers, Angels heavy. We'll talk about the other teams too. This is just an intro. So it happened out this way. But yes, thank you, Luke.
The Houston Astros hat, but it won't always be Angels. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the Astros might be a sticky subject this season. We'll see.
Yeah, don't bring the Astros up in front of Luke. He's already up.
No, we're on the same page, Luke.
That's not it.
All right, Luke. Thank you so much. Take care.
Man. Awesome. Okay.
That's it for us today at All Talk No Balk. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. We hope that you will reach us through our Skype number, our email, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and eventually Facebook once we get it up and running. You can send us questions, leave us a voicemail, and we will be sure to get back to you on everything baseball.
That's right, Charles. And we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Just to give you guys a rundown, you can find us on callthebullpen.com. That's our website. That's all lowercase. Callthebullpen.com. You can find us on Instagram at @thebullpen_. That's all. That's all lowercase as well. You can find us on Twitter at @thebullpen12. We're really excited. That's a newer part of our company. Our Twitter at @thebullpen12. We're growing. We are on YouTube, and this will be uploaded to YouTube at the Bullpen. Just 2 words, at the Bullpen. And then what we're really excited about is you guys could send us your questions or your comments or any baseball thing. We really want to talk to you guys. We're so excited to hear what you have to say about anything baseball. We do have a subject that we want to broach this time, and it is send us your favorite baseball memory. We want to hear.
Yeah, we want to hear that baseball memory. We need it.
We're going nostalgic, Charles, for next week.
Well,
so
you know what, Heather? I brought out a little baseball memory of mine. This is when I was younger. This is me and T-Ball, still repping the Angels, if you can see that. Still got my Angels rep on, still going. So that's my favorite baseball memory. That's me and T-Ball. I love playing the sport. I love talking about it. And I think we're going to kick some serious butt on this podcast. We're going to be bringing it to you hot. I hope you all are ready. It's going to be a crazy next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we're excited. So our phone number that you could call in on, leave a voicemail, and we might even have you on the pod. Our phone number is 562-283-5440. Again, that's 562-283-5440. And as Charles indicated with his fingers, we will post all of this information in the description. And you could also email us your questions if you want to remain anonymous. You could also remain anonymous on the phone. But you could email us at so it's bullpenbaseballpod@gmail.com. 1 word, lowercase, bullpen, bullpenbaseballpod@gmail.com. That'll be in the description as well. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Charles. This was a really fun first episode. It will probably sound like dorks on our first one, but we're really excited.
The nerds will take power, Heather. We're gonna rise, the baseball nerds together. We'll do it. We're gonna be great. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Thank you guys for joining. All talk, no balk. We'll see you next week.
Thank you guys. Bye.